Hello everyone. As Christmas and the New Year approach, I want to express my thanks for your support. It really means a lot to us. Without you, none of this would be possible. Your generosity allows us to make all this happen. This year has been truly unique as we have seen changes in the media landscape. I tried many times to participate in events of the Conservative Party of Canada, but without success. Corianne, the press secretary of Erin O'Toole, literally tracked me everywhere. Since Pierre Poilievre became the new leader, freedom of press is gradually being restored after Trudeau's authoritarian regime.
First of all, questions around accreditation were handled by the Press Gallery and the consortium of networks who have strong perspectives on quality journalism and the important information that is shared with Canadians. The reality is organizations like yours that continue to spread misinformation and disinformation on the science around vaccines.
For the Liberals, if you don't stroke them the right way, you're out. I attended the Conservative Convention held at the Quebec City Convention Centre, and several Liberal ministers erupted outside to criticize the Conservative. But the political wind have shifted. Support for the Liberal Socialist is dropping.
I'm a Liberal and a proud Socialist, Mr. Speaker.
And on those 2 days, they lost face because they didn't expect so much independent, unsubsidized media ready to ask the real question. Take a look.
Why do you attack Canadian natural resources when you are participating in the Communist Party of China Climate Forum and refuse to confront them on their practices, like the billion they are investing into coal-fired electricity?
Well, actually, the council was created in 1992, and when Pierre Poilievre was a cabinet minister, his colleague, the Minister of Environment, occupied this. The environment ministers under Stephen Harper occupied the same position I do now as environment minister. In fact, the last environment minister of the Harper government praised the council for the work that it's done to help China tackle its environmental problems. And in fact, on the work plan of the council over the next year, we will be working to tackle coal use in China. We will be working on carbon pricing. So everything you just said that is simply not true.
Then there were my adventure abroad to cover important stories. The tragedy that struck Maui was simply horrific. An uncontrollable fire caused by gross negligence resulted in dozens of deaths. And Joe Biden, after the incident, simply refused to comment on the catastrophe.
I had fire hose down at the fire hydrant down here where I was going to try to protect the house myself, and the fire hydrant was dry. There was no water. The hoses had no water. At that point, I didn't think there was any way that my house was going to survive. So I stayed here the whole night. I was up a total of 40 hours by the time the whole thing was over and before I finally went down and took a bath in the ocean. He really offended a lot of local people when he said no comment.
But there was also my recent trip to London, where I covered 2 events that occurred almost simultaneously. A demonstration to protect the cenotaph during Remembrance Day, with the possibly threat of graffiti and vandalism that had already been caused by anti-Israel activists before a group of Brits wanted to make sure everything went well. After the ceremony, at the cenotaph, a massive anti-Israel march took place a little further away. It was at that moment that I captured a man expressing his true thought.
If the West feels so sorry for the Israeli Zionists, why don't they give a place in Germany? Why don't you go to Hitler's back garden and make an occupation there? Then they will know what kind of people these are. Why every so many 100 years the Zionists get slaughtered? Because Hitler knew how to deal with these people. They probably made a program so they can create a state of Israel in the expense of Palestinian Muslims' blood.
2023 is also the year when left-wing activists have taken up a lot of space. Whether through the nonsense of gender identities, the supposed climate change, and now for Palestine. During the climate rage in Montreal, me and Guillaume faced multiple challenges trying to cover some events.
Pourquoi vous dites que je suis une fasciste?
Je pense que c'est vrai.
OK, vous avez un exemple?
J'ai pas besoin de te donner un exemple, je te dois call.
Donc, juste m'étiqueter, ça suffit.
J'ai vraiment pas besoin de me justifier à toi.
Donc, vous savez pas qu'est-ce que je fais, probablement vous nous écoutez même pas, vous avez même pas un exemple à me donner.
J'ai pas à te donner d'exemple, je te dois call.
Donc, vous avez pas besoin d'exemple pour traiter quelqu'un de quelle que soit l'insulte que ce soit?
Je te dois call.
Donc, c'est un raccourci intellectuel?
T'as de l'air d'un raccourci intellectuel aussi.
But the standout moment for me and my teammate Guillaume was at the Museum of Civilization in Quebec when the Love Me Gender exhibition took place. A launch that will remain etched in my memory for a long time. With young children disturbed and traumatized by the sight of a naked man, and all this in order to promote diversity, equity, and inclusivity. Thank you very much for being loyal followers. Stay tuned in 2024 for more reports that you won't see anywhere else. So if you want to support our journalism, please go over rebelnews.com/donate. You can donate what you can to support our journalism and to make sure we continue to show you the other side of the story.